Today I was going to talk about something I think we've all probably experienced at some point, which is this. No sound coming out of your synthesizer. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Gabe Shree. I talk about keyboards, synthesizers, stuff like that. I started thinking about this because the other day I did a video using the grandmother and I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't get a sound out of it. Why no sound from the grandmother? Oh, oscillator. And then I thought about a time where, say you're at a music store and you walk into the keyboard section and you're looking at synthesizers and you walk up to one that doesn't have any presets or anything, and you start twiddling and you just can't get a sound out of it. Maybe we need like a little checklist to go through when approaching a synthesizer for the first time and it's not making any sound. Today I'm going to use the Moog grandmother for this demonstration just because it's exactly the type of synth I'm talking about. Like, there's no presets, there's no screen. Everything that's happening within the synthesizer you can control right here on the top. So if it's doing something weird, you just kind of have to figure it out, and hopefully this checklist will help. Number one. This sounds obvious, but the first thing you want to check is the volume. So if the volume is down, no sound. So you got to turn the volume up, and then you might get some sound, you might not. Also, on a lot of synthesizers, there might be one other volume knob, like there might be a headphone volume knob. On the Matriarch, there's a knob on the back if you're plugged into headphones, so just be careful of that. There's some other ways you can adjust volume, but that's coming up in the checklist. Number two, always make sure your cables are plugged in. It sounds crazy, but it's something you should check. So make sure the power's on, power cable's in, and the audio cable is connected to the correct jack, and make sure it's plugged in. Also, if it is plugged in, make sure the cable works, because music store cables are notoriously, overworked. So it might just be a bad cable. Number three, filter cutoff. So this is a big one on synthesizers. If your volume is up, your mixer levels are up, your cables are working good, and you still don't get any sound, take a look at your filter cutoff, which is usually the big knob on the top of the synth. I would hold a key and then turn it slowly. You want to go slowly because you never know, you might get a lot of resonance. Now we have sound. Also, this checklist that we're going through is almost like a basic guide for signal flow through a synthesizer. So we're kind of going through each gate that the audio signal would pass through to come out of the synthesizer. Number four, let's say you have the volume up, the cutoff, sweep going on, your cables are good, still no sound. You might want to check the mixer on your synthesizer where you can turn up and down each individual oscillator. So that's oscillator one, oscillator two, you just want to make sure that those levels are up as well in order to hear the synthesizer. Also, the mixer section usually has noise. So if you're just hearing noise, chances are your noise level is up, but you don't have any oscillators on. Number five, patch cables. If you're at a big box store, this might not be a problem because I usually don't see patch cables plugged into synthesizers at, say, like a Guitar Center. But if you're at a local store, they might be using patch cables. And this really only applies to like modular or semi-modular synths. So if there's patch cables in there, it might be blocking the sound and you might not be able to hear it. For instance, like if this cable is just sitting here, I'm not going to hear any sound out of the synthesizer. I'm going to need to unplug it because that patch was blocking my ability to hear the sound. Also, in the reverse, if the synthesizer is doing something like really weird, like holding a note, and it's like, how do I stop this? It's because this patch cable is doing that by itself. My rule of thumb is just unplug the patch cables. You just never know what someone was doing before you, and it could have been something crazy. Number six, the envelope. So this is one of the last stages of sound coming out of the synthesizer. If you're hearing nothing from the envelope, or like it's like little blips, it's probably because your envelope needs to be adjusted. For instance, right now, there's no sustain, there's no release, there's no decay, there's barely any attack. Everything's like at its minimum. Usually my first step, if I'm not hearing a note hold out, is to increase the sustain. And that usually helps hear the note. One other reason you might not be hearing sound is because the attack might be set too long. So if you're pressing keys like this and you're not hearing a sound, it's because the attack hasn't had time to start. So you have to hold down a key in order to hear the sound. So it's making sound, it's just not making it fast enough for your key presses. So always check the attack. I usually turn it down real low at first, just to make sure I can hear it. And then if your releases, of course, are too long, like if it's sustaining and you're like, why is it doing this? Turn your release down a little bit. So I hope this helps. It's just a reminder that synthesizers are weird for everybody. I don't think it matters where you are. Because this was happening to me when I first started getting into them, and it happened to me like last week. I'll put a little copy of the checklist in the description. You can just copy and paste it if you ever need it. Cool. There's an airplane flying over right now. I'll see you guys next time.